And as you're speaking with him, he's a cipher, which means he's a very, very impatient conversationalist. He's constantly interrupting you and cutting you off. That was my follower noise. It just dominated my ear and ruined my train of thought. What was I saying?
He's an impatient guy.
He's an impatient... Well, he speaks like he's impatient. He's not unfriendly. He's not like he's terse or on edge. He just always... Whatever he has to say is always more important than whatever you're saying. That's essentially how he runs the conversation. But he does confirm that his place is haunted by a pair of ghosts.
Would you mind if I talk to them?
And he motions to a corner of the scattered steed.
Okay, I'll go and take a seat and try and see these ghosts.
Make a charisma check.
Okay. That's a 17.
Okay, let me just go ahead and paste Philly Will into my NPC lists so I don't forget he's there. And you try to remember what Tasbit said. To focus, try to look at the things that aren't there and listen to the sounds that aren't there. And after a few moments, you do indeed see the ghostly visages of two humans, a man and a woman. And what they look like and how they're dressed, that's all up to you, because you invented these characters. So I'll let you take it from here and describe what you see.
I gotta look at my email to you. See if I can remember the names. Let's see, this is...
the names are Melina...
Whitley and Melina.
And Whitley.
Right.
Whitley is a snare drummer and Melina is a trumpeter.
Yeah. So I can see, I mean, they're carrying their instruments. It's kind of one of those deals where, like, that's part of what they are, who they are, is they've got their instruments. It's as much as the clothes that they're wearing. That's what part of what these ghosts are. Whitley is I think they were both humans. Yeah, Whitley's a long-haired human. Kind of like a spacey look on his face. Just like not the most with it together guy in the world, even when he was alive. Melina is a bit sharper and always seems disgruntled about something.
Okay.
But yeah.
So what do you ask them about?
I'll ask them if they can... I'll ask them when was the last time they played a show.
And Melina does most of the talking. And she tells you that they play every night. And in fact, they have found, since their death, that they are bound to this place. They're not able to leave the premises. But they play every night. Whether people are able to hear them or not, she couldn't say.
So would you be interested in joining my band?
And she's not sure that you heard her correctly, so she re-emphasizes that they're not able to leave the scattered steed. She seems very, a little bit upset at how you're interacting with her. Like, she doesn't have this kind of interaction with people very often.
Mm-hmm.
But no, she reiterates, we can't leave the scattered steed. We're bound to this place.
And I'll reassure that shouldn't be a problem. All we've got to do is make sure that me and my friend here can rig up some way to get you heard, seen, and then we'll be a foursome.
And Tasbit had spoken to them at some length while you all were gone. So they're familiar with him.
Mm-hmm.
And they're willing to give it a shot. It's going to be a train wreck of a performance.
All right. I'll say we'll be back tomorrow, my friend and I. We can start rehearsing.
So Tasbit then shows you some sheet music that he's gone over while you were gone.
Mm-hmm.
The idea being that he tried to put together music that, for the people in the crowd who are only able to see you as a duet, would interpret the music one way, whereas people who are able to see the ghosts as well would interpret the songs very differently. But he's been having trouble getting that kind of music together.
Okay. Then I'll say, why don't we go back to the lyre and we can hash it out over the rest of the day.
Okay.
Get some proper music for twosome or foursome written. And that's going to be the rest of my daily action, is spending it at the lyre, working on my songs and leveling up.
Kelian.
Yes, sir.
You don't have a job.
I knew that was coming.
You go back to the Hall of Records, and your office is occupied by some low-level clerk you've never met, and the people that you used to work with the Hall of Records inform you that your position has been given to somebody else. With a message that if you have any concerns about it to be raised, that you're to see Darkwood himself.
All right.
I imagine it's the same mousy girl that took his office back when he got demoted by what's his face way back when.
Yeah, let's play Darkwood a visit.
So you ask for an audience with Darkwood, and you have to wait on him. He makes you wait for about an hour before you're brought into his office. And when you enter, you can see he's in a bad mood. He's poring over a stack of paperwork piled up on his big wooden desk. And as soon as you walk in, he uses one of his strong arms and sweeps it into a drawer, slams it shut, makes a show of fishing out a key and locking the drawer. And he says, Kelian! So I see you finally turned up.
Yes. Indeed. I see that my position has been given away.
He says, well, I'll be frank. I'm impressed that you didn't turn tail and flee from Sigil after denying me what I asked for, which is what I thought had happened. Whatever else can be said about Kelian, he has a pair of balls. We can give him that much.
Quite the compliment coming from you, sir.
I need your signature on something. And he fishes around on his desk, which is just very uncharacteristically messy for Darkwood. You see, he's got a lot on his plate at the moment. And he hands you a paper, waiting for your signature. Glancing it over, it's the deed to your kip. So sign that, and we'll be done here.
Kelian's about to sign it. Reads what it is, instead lifts his head up.
Reading what it is, if you were to sign this paper, you're transferring ownership of the kip back over to the Fated.
Right. But he's not signing it. Instead, he looks up at Darkwood. Really?
So it's already done, I'm afraid. We've installed the new ownership. Money's flowing in. Everybody's happy.
Well, not everybody.
This is on the books. We have the premises down as abandoned. Previous occupant out of town permanently. Listen.
I was looking for your bloody package.
Did you find it?
No!
And he shrugs. Says, then I'm afraid it's done. So you should go down. They opened up a nice restaurant in the place. Delicious food. The problem, Kelian, is that a mid-level clerk working in the Hall of Records, taking up prime real estate like that, a 2-story house, not making any revenue for the faction, you see I couldn't look the other way on this too much longer. But a bustling restaurant, bringing in a lot of revenue, giving the people a place to convene after a hard day's work. It's better for everyone, I assure you.
No, definitely not better for everyone.
And again, he shrugs, says, I'm afraid it's done. I'll need to have your signature now, please. Listen, Kelian, I understand. And I'm impressed, I am, that you decided that being a mid-level clerk in the Hall of Records is not good enough for you. Taking up planewalking, that is a profession worthy of a member of the Fated. To go out into the multiverse and seek your own destiny. You're a man after my own heart, what can I say? And he folds his hand over his chest as he says that. And a kind of fatherly tone of voice.
Can we have Darkwood in our party?
Can Darkwood get the blips tonight? Kelian takes the paper and crumples it up, throwing it to the side.
And Darkwood doesn't like that at all.
Of course he doesn't. I don't like having my kip turned into a restaurant.
And he tells you, Kelian, it's done. Whether you sign the paper or not, kind of irrelevant at this point.
Oh, no sir, it is far from done.
What sort of future do you see for yourself?
The future I saw for myself?
What is Kelian's end game? Where are you in 10 years? Are you a clerk or are you a planewalker? Which is it?
That's a legit question, but I'm not saying that.
Are you making a few silvers a day, filling out paperwork and chasing after back taxes? Or are you making your fortune out on the plains?
Why not both?
I want to be very clear, Kelian. I'm not your friend. I offered friendship, and you slapped it away. Again, I can admire that to an extent, but I can't have people working for me, working for my faction, that aren't in line. If you want to make an enemy of Duke Darkwood, and he stoops down, picks up the crumpled paper off the floor, and starts uncrumpling it, and he kind of smooths it out against his chest. This is only the first step.
Well, sir, I think you should be more concerned with the fact that maybe you're making an enemy of me.
He asks if you know who Erin Montgomery is.
Out of character. She's Sensate's.
Nick
Yeah,
had a
lead,
very
right?
nice meeting with her.
You know her as the Factful of the Sensates, but more than that, you
Yeah.
probably don't. She's incredibly rich, but more than that, you probably don't know.
Yeah, I say that then.
He says, my greatest enemy in Sigil is Erin Montgomery, And I can scarcely imagine having a bigger enemy in Sigil than Aaron Montgomery. What in the world do I have to fear from the likes of you?
I guess we're gonna find out together then. And Kelian storms out.
As you're storming out, he calls out after you that essentially the things that were found in your kip were confiscated. They're being made better use of now. So, lumps of silver, second crossbow, non-magical curiosity, scroll detect magic, special lantern, earplugs, rings, and your chalk and chalkboard are gone.
Alright.
Wow. That's why Ciclon is a pack rat and carries everything he owns on his back.
Yeah, but how... You can't move. It's to move.
Well, you don't have to own a whole lot of stuff. You just, carry what's important.
Alright, I'm heading back to my kip and seeing this awesome restaurant.
Well, it's not your kip anymore. It is... Excuse me.
Well, actually, he hasn't signed that paper yet.
Well, had he signed the paper, Darkwood would have returned the stuff back to him that was in his kip.
So I think this is his restaurant.
I was...
Going out to the restaurant,
Yeah,
it's the whole building has been renovated and converted into an Isgardian restaurant called A Bowl of Vanaheim.
This took a month? Alright.
And the place is packed when you get there.
Is there any sort of owner or lead, any sort of guy managing the place?
The owner and manager, her name is Berthafried Brockhouse. She's a halfling, and her family they do everything. They cook the food, they serve it, and the cuisine is very filling, hearty food from the plane of Isgard. Not unlike what you had at the Long Hall after being resurrected from the dead.
Okay. Is she available for a conversation or anything like that?
Do you identify yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. How? How do you identify yourself?
Oh boy.
I introduce myself as Kelian, the owner of this restaurant.
Very nice.
At that, the little boy who is running around taking orders, you flag him down and you introduce yourself as Kelian, the owner of the restaurant, and he laughs in your face. But then he tells you he'll go get his auntie, and he goes back,
All right.
and you're introduced to Berthafried, who is a very pudgy, like even pudgier than normal halfling, with bright orange hair and a face just covered in freckles. She's in maybe her 50s or so, though. Not a young woman at all. She comes out, and she says, "So, you're the previous owner, then?"
The current owner, actually.
Right. Look, Darkwood told me I might have some problems with you. So, I am willing to offer the olive branch. And she motions over to a corner of the restaurant, which formerly would have been your sitting room. Where there's a table over there with 5 places around it. And she says, "That's your table? You're welcome anytime we're open. The food and drink are on the house. What do you say to that?"
No, I don't think you understand. I own this place.
She says,
This
"Sure."
all belongs to me.
And she chuckles and says, "Sure you do, honey. Sure you do. Would you like lunch?"
No, thank you.
And then she tells you she has to get back to work. and leaves you standing in the restaurant. And you're constantly jostled by people moving around, and very delicious smelling platters of food are coming out of the kitchen and going to tables. The mead is flowing freely. And there's your table in the corner with a little piece of paper that says reserved on it. Excuse me.
I'm trying to figure out how proud Kelian is.
How proud.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put it this way. We got past the character death danger because you didn't pick a fight with Darkwood.
He was thinking about it, trust me. Just how fast he could pull out his crossbow and shoot him in the neck.
I'll put it this way. Darkwood is a level 19 ranger, level 20 cleric, which is not even possible in 5th edition. You can't even do that.
Kelian, when he asked where do you see yourself in 10 years, I sent all caps messages to Nich saying, "Factal! Factal!"
So what's your next move in the restaurant here?
Well, Kelian leaves the restaurant and goes to find a room, an inn.
Okay, what area of Sigil are you looking to find an inn, and what kind of scale are you looking for?
Cheap but livable.
Okay.
So something in between Clerks and Guildhall, I think. Those two words.
And you find your pick of, we'll say, 5 silver a night places.
Alright, that'll do.
Now, in many factions, they can just put you up, but the Fated don't do anything for free, so. Your cat, by the way, looks exhausted, having followed you around Sigil all day, and she's kind of upset that you didn't bring her home.
No.
I shouldn't stay at the restaurant.
I was expecting you to try and move into the second floor.
Fluffy bottom.
So let's go to... Well, I'm presuming that the Brockhouse family lives on the second floor now. So let's go to the tavern name here and find out what... The Typical Prince Inn.
I'll be right back.
Is where Kelian is staying now.
Okay, that sounds appropriate.
Typical.
So, Riot, you are going to stay at the Horrible Liar all day with Tasbit, yes?
Yeah. I'm doing my level up action here.
Oh, so you're leveling up then. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What are Ciclon and Serenity doing for the rest of the day?
I would say we try to go and round up Mahogany or... Mahogany said Mahogany's staying on the plane, that's right.
Yeah, he's on the beach still.
Is it safe to leave the statue here?
Yeah, that's what well, it's not a church, it's a soup kitchen, but Father Mondo's he's one of the few people here in this city that I trust with anything with my face, and actually you're one of them as well. But anyway, let's see.
Let me ask something so would know real quick, Brick.
Okay.
Is it possible as a cipher to get like a lock somewhere?
To get a lock?
A locker. Like, is there anywhere I can...
The gymnasium's a gym.
Well, the gymnasium doesn't have any quarters. There's nowhere for ciphers to stay there. You could find somewhere. Yeah, you could go to an inn or rent the room out, and they'll have a footlocker for you.
I think what Serenity has in mind is a place where they can stash the statue, but Ciclon is of the mind that Father Mondo said he would take care of Dolphinder, and he trusts him.
I've got a folding on my back still.
Ah,
right. Well, you've got your underground bunker that you guys commandeered from the dead anarchists.
That is true. We could snap a rat's neck and go stash it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I like that.
Okay, so you're gonna stash the boat in there. Then we'll just say then that you guys made a quick detour because you went through the hive.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just say that you walked by the place and you stashed it real quick. So go ahead. Let's just do this then. Let's add a spot because everybody has a kip section on your character sheet. I guess Serenity's your kip's gonna be that bunker.
Well, I still like smaller things. I don't have a problem, or less valuable things. I don't have a problem leaving in with the Gruffler in my room, but the boat's kind of an exception.
Gotcha. Okay. So yeah, you can go and stash it there. So let's just make a note that
Yeah,
it's
I'll
in
just add
the
that.
bunker, in the ex-anarchist bunker. You have to end a life every time you take
And
something
they're
out of
always
that bunker.
delicious.
As long as something eats the rat, that's fine.
So what are Ciclon and Serenity doing for the rest of the day after?
Hmm.
I mean, do you think their faction would be interested in helping? Tell them?
Well, what do we tell them? That we were traipsing around the Beastlands for no apparent reason, and that doesn't say that. If we bring the Mercy Killers in on this, there's to be questions and possible charges. And after what Factal Nilesia said last month, I don't think we want to have any part of that.
Well, if that was the case, you probably should have thrown a blanket over her while we were dragging her through the streets.
Didn't really have time.
It only took Mondo a second.
Yeah, but we didn't have one. We didn't have one on us.
You don't have a bedroll?
Well, done now.
Serenity's less concerned about that.
So you guys are gonna do what? What's the action?
Tell you the truth, I'm now that there are a couple of issues on my mind that I'm not entirely sure which order I should cover. I mean, I'm more inclined to cover the issue of the supposed Doomguard bounty on my head.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I mean, my opinion is to go check to see if they would help us getting her back or whatever. Like,
All right,
but I mean, I'm telling this to Cyclone. Like, this is my thought.
all right, well, if you want to bring the Mercy Killers in on it, be my guest. But I advise against it. There's going to be questions, and you need to be careful about how you answer those questions.
Paul, do you have a better idea?
And he's feeling a little bit nervous about the whole deal.
I also throw some of the pandemonium supplies in the house.
Okay.
All right. If you want to go, I'm not going to stop you. I get it. Fine then.
So are you both
I mean,
going to
well,
the prison?
Okay, so if that's, I mean, no, let's just get the rest of the Planestalkers together and figure out what we're gonna do about her. I mean, Mahogany's off plane for the rest of the day probably, so tomorrow morning we'll meet in Mahogany's shop if we can get word to everyone.
This is actually fairly well thought out for you. Like I've never known you to stop and think. What's wrong? Ciclon puts the back of his hand up to Serenity's forehead and says, "Are you feeling all right?"
No, it seems reasonable. At any rate, I'm probably going to go back to Batopia for a little bit myself.
Ciclon lets out a long breath and then nods.
Can you get word to everybody?
I'll do what I can. I don't know where everyone else scattered to the winds of this huge city, but I'll do what I can.
So Serenity's headed to Bitopia. Are you leveling up?
Yeah.
Well, Ciclon is going to start by looking for Bodrick and Xanthes and let them know that we're going to be meeting up in Mahogany's shop.
So where do you go?
Tomorrow.
To Bobrick or Xanthes?
Xanthes. and I'm just gonna let him know that we need to we need to figure out what we're going with Dolphinder.
Okay.
And we have two options before us. We can either ask Father Mondo. We can either get what Father Mondo needs to reverse the petrification, or we go to the Mercy Killers.
Hey, and what is Kelian doing for the rest of the day?
He will help assist in the Dolphinder efforts.
Okay. So, Ciclon.
Oh, so I'm
Coming back.
Would I run?
Coming back to the Clerk's Ward, where Xanthes lives. Knocking on his door, nothing. And then you're thinking, well, we need to get people together, and most of them went on the plane, but I know where Kelian lives. So you head over to Kelian's house, and it's no longer
find the
Kelian's
restaurant.
house. It is now
And
a halfling-owned restaurant called A Bowl of Vanaheim.
I
But
will cock my brow at this.
Kelian is there, looking very disgruntled. And the cat is looking even more disgruntled.
I will walk up behind Kelian and say, "Hey, well, damn, it looks like somebody pissed in your breakfast today. What happened?"
Darkwood has confiscated my kip and turned it into a restaurant.
Well, that certainly is a thing.
Sure is.
Well, in any case, we're planning on meeting up at Mahogany's shop tomorrow. And blah blah blah.
And as you two are conversing, you both hear very loud a shout from down the street that just shouts out, El Ciclon!
Turn around.
Looking down that way, you see Happy, the ball breaker, flexing his giant arm with a big grin on his face.
Have I ever met him?
Big fucking grin on my face, like just.
Has Kelian ever met Sky? I don't
know.
think he has.
Don't believe you've ever met
All right.
Happy.
Okay.
Happy, Happy exited the campaign on like the second session.
Okay.
He's a Tiefling. He has a freakishly muscular right arm, and he's a show fighter like El Ciclon. And in fights, he's known for going straight for the balls. So he has earned the name Ballbreaker.
Kelian takes one look at this guy and says, "Oh, he must be your friend."
So what Kelian would know in the months or so with traveling around with El Ciclon is that Happy and a couple other characters, including one of Riot's bandmates 2 bands ago, were being targeted by Jandar's slavers. So they got the characters together and shuffled them off to Arborea for safekeeping. That's the last you guys saw of them.
Yeah, like I tried to keep tabs on them, but it didn't work out too well. But I'm glad to see he's all right.
And he comes up and offers to catch up. He's, "Have you been to this place? It's delicious."
No, I just found out about it myself. Look at Kelian.
And he throws an arm on each of your shoulders and starts talking about the braised yak that they serve. And he's entering the restaurant.
I bet.
I guess I'll go with them then.
Kelian, are you going in with them?
Fuck no. No. Yeah, Kelian will go in.
And when they see that Kelian's with you guys, they give you the reserve table. And they bring out a meal that's on the house. Stein of meat,
thank you.
braised yak, sweet rolls.
So, what brought you back to Sigil? I know I have trouble keeping in touch, but I'm glad to see you're here.
He tells you
unharmed.
that he came back to look for Discordance.
Discordance.
The winged band member.
You mean you two got separated?
Not as such. He says, we kept to the wilds of Arborea for a while. We went from to village and village. We got into a great routine that I want to bring you in on. A great showmanship. I would fight, and they would do music, and it was a big. It was great. We'll have to show you. But she was never into it.
Mm-hmm.
And traveling to one of the villages in Arborea, they were set upon on the road by berserkers, which they fought off handily, because between Discordance and the Ballbreaker, they had some decent muscle. But he began to be worried, because anytime that a fight would break out like that, Discordance would tap into what he calls fell magic. And he says the last time it happened, we would knock their heads together, leave them on the ground, but the last time it happened, one of these berserkers, she killed him in a very, very disturbing way. And he holds up his little spindly arm, the small one, and he demonstrates on his hand. He's like, you could just see the bone jutting out from the wrist, and it looked as though the flesh had been peeled away from it.
Like degloved?
That's a rather picturesque word for it, yes.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen pictures of that shit all the time in the military and working around aircraft, so yeah. like imagine like a finger stripped off, leaving just the bone there.
Ciclon, when were you in the military?
No, this is me.
Yeah.
And he says, there's one thing to bringing down a foe, to defeat a foe in combat, but it's another thing to mutilate them. And he confronted her with it, and she got upset and stole off in the night. So he came back to Sigil to see if she was here.
And I'm guessing you've not heard hide nor hair of her, huh?
And he shakes his head.
How long have you been back?
About a week. 6 days, maybe.
Okay. Well, as far as I know, okay, now I'm taking a little bit of a stock of the members of the Slavers Ring who are still at large. Diller's dead. We killed his ass. As far as I know, Torier is in custody.
Yeah.
The Modron from the governors, he's in custody as well.
Yeah.
And the Mercy Killer, Githzerai, is still at large somehow.
Yeah, Venvri and Nulls. Nobody knows where Nulls is.
Yeah. And I'll go down the list of this with Happy and say that's pretty much how it stands as far as I know.
He says it sounds like you're making good progress then.
Yeah, but there have been some casualties along the way. A fellow by the name of Khazriel. We lost him fighting Diller.
Oh, can't say I knew him.
Yeah.
Kelian, best meal you've ever had in your life.
All right.
I think you're coming out ahead here. You can live at the table.
Kelian
sleep
is
under it.
only half listening to the conversation. He's sizing up what has happened to his kit and what it looks like and everything. And he sort of says, sort of non-focused, well, I can't make an omelet without breaking eggs.
And as you're eating, you catch a glimpse once or twice of Bertha Fried back in the doorway of the kitchen area watching you eat. And she looks very pleased with herself. So where do you guys leave it with Happy then?
Well, I'll tell him, and obviously continue to watch your back. I'll do what I can while I'm still in town. And if you keep your ear to the ground. If you hear anything, get in touch with me. Let me know if you hear anything.
He says, "Will do."
Oh, and I'm sure you already heard about Factal Nylesia's proclamation.
Oh yeah.
Well,
he's more. I'm not gonna say worried because you never really knew Happy to be worried about much of anything, but he's more affected by the fighting that has been breaking out in the Great Bazaar.
Okay.
The Bazaar at the time, like the Indepts, kind of have it on lockdown, and the Harmonium are not able to get in there to keep the peace. The flip side of that is the Indepts are doing a pretty good job of keeping the peace themselves. The skirmishes that are breaking out. What's that?
Okay. I was about to say, what colors is as Happy carrying? Is he the Indept himself, or is he?
Happy is he's an Indept.
Okay.
And he tells you he's been keeping busy in that end. So far as he knows, there haven't been all the skirmishes that are breaking out are Indepts against Harmonium.
Okay.
Because they're trying to get in and seize this silversmith's shop. So far, they've been unsuccessful. So he's got his hands full with that, and if there's any news about Discordance, it'll come through the Bazaar sooner or later.
Okay. Well, like I said, keep your ear to the ground and let me know if anything comes your way.
So, Mahogany.
Yeah, we kind of left Mahogany alone. We did I don't think he actually got a morning action. Oh no, that's right.
He's leveling up.
He went back to.
I'm
about
to ask him a question, McDohl. Don't worry. I know where I'm going with this.
All right.
So you leveled up to what? 5?
5.
And what do you get at level 5? What does that level up do for you?
It's another proficiency bonus, which is I think standard for level 5. A new level of spells, level 3.
Okay.
And I think that's it.
Okay. So you spend the day. You come back from the Beastlands and you decide immediately, you know what? I didn't quite have enough Beastlands. I want to go back. So you spend the day in meditation, convening with Lou, who is pleased at all you have done so far. Do you fill the vial with anything? Do you make an effort on this day to fill that vial with anything?
I've got it filled.
Did
We
you?
did that at the end of the last session. It was a lion, because I never transformed into a lion.
Gotcha. And that action in particular, Lou is pleased with.
And actually, I decided that since I haven't gotten enough Beastlands, I should bring a little Beastlands home with me, which at level 3 means I get to cast Conjure Animals.
Okay. Casting the Conjure Animal spells on the Beastlands does not do anything.
I'm already on the Beastlands. I don't need any more Beastlands. Once we're somewhere else, though.
Okay. Riots.
Uh-huh.
It's like a take-home bag.
What does Riot get at level 5?
Riot gets the same extra proficiency point, the same 3rd level spells. She now has what did I take? Dispel Magic and Layman's Tiny Hut, which is where she lives now.
Okay.
And her Bardic Inspiration from D8s, and she gets them all back on short rest now.
That's a good level for you.
That is a very good level.
And what does Serenity get at level 5?
Serenity gets an extra attack, extra movement, and the extra proficiency.
Okay. Where does Riot put up Lamb's tiny hut?
She goes back to. Well, I mean, really, most of her stuff is in storage at the Amicus hideout.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that you see on my sheet in the whole where did I put it? All up miscellaneous possessions. That's where all that is.
Well, the hut is not a permanent place.
No, I know.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, just wherever it looks like there might be space in the streets, she'll put it up there.
Okay. So you're not worried about finding an actual place to call your own. Just wherever you happen to fall at the end of the day, that's where the hut goes.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah.
She doesn't have an address.
Right. And you're not sure who Leomud is, but his hut is comfortable enough.
I think he must have been a bard. That's where I got the song.
So the next morning, and today is an astral day. And astral days happen once every 19 days, and they're not part of any month. People think of it as the astral days are a month all to themselves that are just spread out throughout the year.
Throughout the year, yeah.
So the Aethar, because it's an astral day, are out in full force today, handing out their pamphlets and doing their proselytizing. The gods are a lie and whatnot, like they do every astral day. Mm-hmm. So Riot, what is your morning action today?
Let's see. I wasn't told about the gathering, right?
Yeah, because I hadn't gotten a chance to run into you yet.
All right.
Well, so you will have gotten word. If you want to make the morning action and make the gathering happen, we can just do that.
Okay. Yeah.
Is that good with everybody?
Good with it?
Yeah, sounds good.
And where's this gathering happening?
I thought we said it was going to be a Mahogany shop.
Mahogany shop? Okay. Bobrick shows up, but Xanthes does not. And Bobrick has work to do because he's a member of the Aethar, so he wants you to make this short.
All right, first question. What is everyone doing at my shop?
Yeah, about that we kind of volunteered your shop for a quick meeting regarding what to do with Dolphinder. I'm of the opinion that okay, I'm going to lay this out. We basically have two options before us. We can either...
Which is the cheapest?
One, we can get the components that my friend Father Mondo has to remove the petrification on Dolphinder. Or we turn her over to the Mercy Killers. And I'm of the opinion that turning her over to the Mercy Killers is a mistake because it's going to bring questions and problems and possibly jail sentences, and I don't want any of that.
I have a question.
Hey, right.
Bobrick asks.
Okay.
What's that?
Why are we concerned with this?
Yeah, Riot shrugged and said she's a mercy killer. She knew all that when she signed on.
Where is she now?
She's safe for now.
You should see it. She's a statue. What's going to happen?
Well, we do have a competition to finish.
I say we don't turn her into the Mercy Killers and risk our own necks, and we don't pay your father Mondo any money and just leave her as a statue. That's my vote. And he looks around the room to see if there's any dissenting opinion.
Ciclon is very much dissenting.
How much money does Father Mondo need?
He needs not so much money, but a particular component. He needs a diamond.
She
So he
does
needs
seem a
money
lot
for his
less
diamond.
nervous as a statue.
Well, Kelian, this ought to be simple. I mean, now that you're back in Ciclon, you can go and tax every third person you see on the street. We'll have money in no time.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. I imagine Kelian didn't. He didn't say anything about him getting fired. Just that his house
He's
has been
about
turned
to,
into a
so-
restaurant.
He's about to, so...
I'll look at Kelian and then get kind of a oh shit expression.
What's wrong? Are taxes over? I always knew that they were a bubble market.
So what does Kelian tell them?
Everything.
Okay.
I think he originally told them that he wants the package, right? If he didn't,
how's
he
the
tells
food?
you.
So
Food's great.
they didn't just piss in your cereal, shit in it too.
Wait, so they
Doesn't
paid
matter.
for your whole table, not just you?
Yeah.
When
That
Bobrick
doesn't
hears the
sound
story,
like a trade down.
when Bobrick hears the story, he can't stop laughing.
I imagine.
And you said
much.
it's the best food you've ever had?
It was really good.
Why are we having the meeting here?
Good question.
I agree with Mahogany.
Yeah, let's go.
So, the company leaves
Mahogany's at the
Mahogany's
front
shop,
door.
walks down the street, and gets the table at a bowl of Anaheim.
Is there
Yeah.
enough? Is the table big enough for 7?
They have to drag a couple chairs over, but you're cramped in. But
I just want to let you guys know I've been to Eastgard and this food is delicious.
yeah, they serve up buttery flapjacks with thick syrup,
Better than what I eat every day.
I'll have another
What?
tankard of meat.
black coffee.
Have you
Just-
guys considered
Just leave the
serving
picture.
Beastland's Eastgard fusion food?
So, Bobrick's spirits, whereas he was very much like, let's get this over with, I've got work to do, but now that he's getting a free breakfast, he's in a much better mood and is in no hurry to take off.
I just want to let you guys know, Kelian, like, I won't want to burn this place down.
I didn't know more bacon was supposed to taste like this. I don't know that I can eat anything else after this.
This is much better cooking than we had last month.
Yeah, no kidding. It was just us roasting rabbits over fire. Anyway, back to the matter at hand.
Oh, are we still talking about that?
Yes.
Do you think she wants some flapjacks?
Well, she's not.
She might fit the decor.
She's not here to voice her opinion one way or the other. That's why I say we get her back to normal. She can voice such a happy opinion.
Is anybody else in the group? Does anybody else in the group disagree with Bobrick? Let's start there. Is anybody? Where does the party split on pro healing and anti healing when it comes to Dolphin?
I think we should just stick a nice Mercy Killer badge on her, leave her out the front door.
Riot not against healing her, but honestly think she's happier this way.
Yeah, like, she seems a lot less nervous.
This is a perfect.
She was a mess in the Beastlands. Maybe this is like a sabbatical for her?
This is... Gosh, I can't believe it. Ciclon and Kelian are actually on the same side about this.
Yeah,
okay.
Serenity thinks that we should bring her
because
back.
If this is really a team competition thing, we need all of our teammates.
We need all 8 of us.
So
dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
So Riot says, let me make this clear. Whatever Aunt Nancy says, you're just going to do. No questions asked. He says we need all 8. You jump right in line. That's what you're saying?
I mean, he did give me this. He holds up the bolt case.
I mean,
I just want to say, I spent a while as an unmoving object, and it's okay.
He didn't give you that. He made you travel across lands and almost die at least 9 times by my count, for you to take that.
I mean, I just think there's safety in
tomato,
numbers.
tomato.
Bobrick hears
At the very
safety
least,
in
you can
numbers.
identify stuff.
When Bobrick hears safety in numbers, he speaks up and says, I don't feel one iota more safe with her watching my back. She's a liability is what she is.
Listen, I'm not saying we don't ever cure her. I'm just saying give her some time to enjoy this form, and maybe she'll appreciate the other one more.
Mahogany's
She
right.
can't enjoy a form if she is not alive to like experience it at all.
As the person with experience in this, I think you should shut up and listen to me.
Ooh. So Mahogany goes straight for check your privilege.
Check your animate object privileges.
Ciclon is looking very angrily at Mahogany right now.
So it sounds like if you guys are going to make this happy, it's going to be up to Ciclon, Serenity, and Kelian to come up with 100 gold to buy a diamond.